And so your guys' legal structure, your chosen legal structure is to be a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And explain that a bit, because most people, when they hear nonprofit, they think they're broke and they can't make money.
Right.
And that's a bit of what we're trying to push, that hey, nonprofits can actually have a business model and be profitable, but it's what they do with that profit that they have to be very cautious. That does set them apart. So explain a little bit this nonprofit versus for-profit and how you guys chose to be a nonprofit.
I think, in all honesty, we could have set the company up either way. Mm-hmm. It was the opportunity that presented itself at that time. Yeah. And so in the early 90s, there was a grant program, an incentive program. So give you just a brief history. So in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of affordable housing built in the United States. And those for-profit developers had 20-year commitments to the federal government as part of being a part of that program. Well, in the 80s and early 90s, those 20-year commitments were starting to run out, and the for-profit developers were converting the apartments, raising the rents, and a lot of the lower income people were having to move out. So the government started incentivizing nonprofits at that point in time with a grant program, and that just happened to be the opportunity that collided at the time. Okay. And so we incorporated as a nonprofit because it gave us, and still to this day to some extent gives us, some unique opportunities with financing, with getting benefits maybe a for-profit developer would not get. But we could have set this up as a for-profit and done many of the same things. But as a nonprofit, our commitment is that everything we do is aimed at kind of that lower income tier. So we can't, under our nonprofit charter, we can't go out and buy luxury apartments. Mm-hmm. It would cause us to lose our nonprofit status if we got too many of those types of things. So it keeps us focused, it keeps us aimed at that group of people. But at the end of the day, it functions just very much like any other for-profit business model, right? We buy them, we finance them, we move people in, we collect rent, we pay expenses. And a lot of our rents are capped, right? We can't just raise our rents as high as we want to raise them. They have to stay in that affordability factor. But it's a business model that works. Yeah. Yeah. And even though we're a nonprofit, it doesn't mean we can't function like a normal business would function. Awesome. So I'd like to say we're wealthier than we are, but it works. It's a workable model. And I think a lot of nonprofits can move towards that in various ways. Yeah, so.
I think there's so many times, like back to that value exchange.
Yeah.
Nonprofits are providing a lot of value. Yeah. And so oftentimes there is some sort of a business model in the work that they're doing. And we just need to look at it and go, how do we not monetize it so we can all make money, but provide sustainability, it provides value. If your tenants in your units weren't paying money, they're not going to respect it the same way that as they are paying money. And so when we do a value exchange and somebody brings and puts money on the table, they're going to demand quality from you, but they're also going to feel more proud of what they're doing, and they're going to take better care of things. And so I think there's a business opportunity in a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're afraid of that transaction, right? Like we think there's something unholy in it, right? But there's actually something very beautiful and sacred in an honest transaction. Like I said earlier, we both come to the table with less and we both leave with more than we came. And it's about connecting people in relationship. Good business brings people together in relationship. And so I don't think we should be afraid of those things. Profit is not evil. Now, people screw those things up. They break them. Yeah. We try to have power over other people. We take advantage of other people. Greed, all those things can move in. But that's a problem with our human heart, right? That's something we have to address on that level. Business itself is actually a beautiful, sacred thing. And done properly and done the way it was designed, it brings people together. It doesn't separate them. And it actually raises the value for everyone in the transaction.